Hello, I am so glad you're here. My name is Allyson Smith, and I am a spiritual abundance coach. And I'm so glad you decided to join my free mini Dream Maker video series. So I want to start right off in video 1, telling you a bit about my story and my struggle with fear and what my really kind of soul-sapping 9-to-5 life looked like. Because I want you to know that I understand where you are today. I understand who you are as you come to me today. So for 10 years, I worked as a biomedical scientist. I was employed by Duke University and also Research Triangle Institute. And for 10 years, I made a very good living and did some really, really important work. And in late 2012, while I was in the middle of what I thought I was meant to be doing with my life, I was laid off. If some of you remember, in the United States, at the end of 2012, we had what was called this fiscal cliff. And a lot of federal funding was terminated, and that included my salary at my job. So after this layoff happened, I really wasn't sure what to do next. I was not able to get hired in any other roles in my field because they were all funded with federal money. So they weren't there anymore. So I panicked and I went back to school again. And that's what a lot of us do, don't we? We go back to school and we think another degree is going to solve the problem. So I went to Duke University and I obtained a paralegal certificate. And that led me to a job at IBM. And I worked at IBM for 2 years as a senior manager in their immigration division. I was highly regarded as a subject matter expert in my field. I worked very, very hard, and I suffered enormously. So while I was in this job, I did have to file Chapter 7 bankruptcy because of 2 years of joblessness because of that layoff. So while I was moving forward, I was also being pulled back. And the job made me sick. It made me physically ill. So for 8 months, I reported to my job as a senior manager for IBM, really, really sick. And that ultimately resulted in surgery in April of 2016. And there were complications, and I was on an extended medical leave. And while I was on that medical leave, I really, really dialed in to the fact that I was ignoring my heart's calling, that I was saying no to my dreams. And all of this felt really bad to me inside, and I was unhappy. And my resentments had become so big because while I was putting my own dream up on the shelf, I was busy building someone else's, because that's what we do. We ignore our own calling and what feels good to us, and we toil and struggle building someone else's dream. And because I had had 20 years of spiritual teachings, I knew that there was another way to go through life besides kicking and screaming. I knew this. I had this knowledge inside me. I had a knowing that there was another life for me. And yet, after I returned to work after my surgery, I stayed for another 6 months. And what was that about? Why, Allyson? Why would you stay in a job that's made you sick? You've had to have surgery. You're resentful. You're bitter. You're miserable. Why would you walk in another day? Well, the reason that I did that is because I was terrified. I was afraid of what would happen if I said yes to my dreams. If I quit my 9-to-5, wouldn't my entire house of cards come tumbling down? Wouldn't everything just fall apart right in front of me? That was my fear. My fear was that I couldn't do it. I wasn't enough. I needed to do more and be more and acquire more. And so I kept going into that job. My bitterness and my sadness, it didn't change. It didn't go away. In fact, it just grew until I shifted. And I'm going to talk a lot about shifting in tomorrow's video. But let me tell you that when I shifted, when my entire global belief system moved from one of fear that said I cannot have what I dream of, to a place of believing and trusting that I'm meant to have everything I've ever dreamed of. There are no limits to what you can create in your life. So what does life look like for me today? Well, I want you to know that too. On Halloween Day, I walked out of IBM. I handed over my laptop and my badge, and I put them in my rearview mirror, and I have never looked back. Yay! It was a huge leap of faith. Yes. Yes, it was. But I knew I deserved everything I want. And after I left IBM on Halloween Day, I started creating that life. I created an amazing business as a spiritual abundance coach, helping women just like you move from fear to freedom. I love my business. I love that I've come to honor my life's calling, that I understand and have finally said yes to my life's calling. And there's so much more. In April, I am moving by myself to a tiny remote island in the Caribbean. Yes! And why am I doing that? Because that was my original dream. Decades ago, years ago, months ago, I wanted to live on a warm beach. And it was really that vague in the beginning. I just knew I wanted to live on a warm beach. I didn't have much more detail or depth or color to the dream. And I kept it up on the shelf, and that's where it always stayed. But I never forgot it. I never forgot that that's what I wanted for myself. And so once I took that huge leap and shifted in such a deep and profound and enduring way, I manifested that life into my reality. And you can too. You absolutely can. So in April, I'm going to take my heart-centered business and about 3 suitcases, and I'm going to fly first class to my tiny remote Caribbean island in Bocas del Toro, Panama, where my continued awakening is going to take place. I am so grateful that I've created this life for myself. And so my message for you is that this is absolutely possible for you too. Abundance is not just for me. It's for you. It's for all of us, and especially women. Because we spend our lives taking care of everyone else, don't we? We take care of our husbands and our children and our loved ones and our friends. We take care of everyone and we neglect ourselves. And what I'm saying to you today is that your time is now. You are being asked to show up in life and create your dreams. So please, for today, what I ask is that you stay open to these ideas. In tomorrow's video, I'm going to share with you some concrete steps that you can take in your life today to begin to move from that place of fear where you feel stuck today into that place of freedom, that lifestyle that you know you want. So I cannot wait to share tomorrow's video with you. It's going to be chock full of steps that you can take to create your life of your dreams today.